إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أما بعد, I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship but Allah. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah to exalt the mention and grant peace and send His salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We further ask Allah to forgive us our sins, pardon our shortcomings, and make us among the righteous and successful. Every now and then, we human beings find ourselves dealing with something new. We're overtaken by some gadget, some tool, software in modern days, applications that kind of go through everybody. Old, young, educated, uneducated, and they become the talk. They make a buzz. And that's not necessarily bad. In fact, more often than not, they are useful. They are human inventions that are useful to mankind. But human beings have the tendency and the ability to misuse useful things. It's a quality we have. And we probably apply it across the board in everything. Family relations, work, you name it. You can somehow find a way to ruin things. To get something bad out of what appears to be good. This is why anytime we have a new thing, in Islam we always focus on a word. There's a word which we add that has to do with eating, going to the bathroom, marital, relations. You name it. There's always a word which we speak about. Can anyone guess what this word is? No, it's not a dua. Dua is not a word. No. No. It's an English word. Take it easy, guys. It's an English word that we use to describe how we behave when doing certain things. Okay, close. What's up? That is a fail answer right there. In regards to relations, in regards to how we deal with children, how we eat, we have WhatsApp. Really? Etiquettes. Etiquettes, right? Yes. Yeah. It's not easy to spell. I know it's not the easiest word to spell. Many people don't know how to spell it, let alone say it. But it's okay. We're not concerned about the spelling. We're concerned about the concept. It is the way we behave, the demeanor, the way we conduct ourselves when doing certain things. We have etiquettes for these things. And if we don't follow certain Islamic etiquettes, then we can easily misuse what otherwise is halal. We can make it haram if we don't follow certain etiquettes. Just to give you an example, we all eat. But what is the etiquette of eating? Do you eat without saying Bismillah? If you ate without saying Bismillah with your left hand, do you have a problem? You have a problem. But two Muslims are eating. One didn't say Bismillah, ate with the left hand. The other one said Bismillah, ate with the right hand. There you have it. One is following the etiquettes of Islam, the manners in eating, and one is not. So they share the act, but they differ in following the guidelines of Islam. As the sister mentioned, guidelines, etiquettes. And so when we spoke about Facebook, remember the lecture, Facebook can make you face hell? It's amazing that we Muslims can be so amazing. We read a title, and then we leave a comment about the lecture which we didn't watch. We didn't even watch. I go to a lecture, some lecturer, the title of his lecture is Muslims are bad. And then you have like 500 people saying, shame on you. How dare you say that? You are bad. Did you hear the lecture, ya akhi? Maybe, let's say he chose the wrong title. Maybe in the lecture he said, Muslims are bad in being mean to others. They're very good in being nice. For example, watch, listen, criticize. The lecture, Facebook can make you face hell. People, ala tool, you go to hell. How can you say Facebook will take you to hell? Am I speaking English? Facebook can make you face hell. Or it cannot. It has to do with how you deal with it. Then in the lecture we explained explicitly that Facebook, is neither halal nor haram. It's just a thing. And how you use it determines whether it is good or bad. And if you misuse it, and you go to extremes in misusing it, surely, like any other sin, it can lead to Jahannam. We don't declare this upon anyone. We don't say, oh, you use Facebook, you're going to hell. Or you have female friends on Facebook, or you're surely going to hell. No one has a right to say this to anyone. The person saying it can wind up in hell, and that person can wind up in Jannah, in Firdaus. It's none of our business. This is with Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. But did Islam tell us these things will lead to hell, so say this to the people? These things lead to Jannah, so encourage the people? Sure. That's the job of everyone involved in da'wah. To highlight the good and the bad, so we can do the good, avoid the bad. But no one is passing any judgment on anyone. Even if you have to be, judgmental in the process. So yes, just like that lecture, there was a lot of backlash. People just got upset. Because they love Facebook so much, they couldn't handle someone telling them anything bad about Facebook. Now, did WhatsApp reach this level? I don't know. I guess those who use both can judge how many hours you spend on each, and which one is most useful to you, most practical, and then which one allows you to avoid haram more and engage in good more. Then that tells you which one is better. But in reality, they can be one and the same. It all has to do with whether we follow the etiquettes of Islam or not. So, the lecture title is, as you know, What's Up with WhatsApp? Because people don't even send SMS anymore. When you get an SMS, say, oh, what happened? It must be Mobile or STC, right? Yeah, some advertisement, something is not right. Your friends don't send you SMS anymore unless like someone died. It's really like bad news. Even now, condolences are offered on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is like all over the place. They have over 1 billion users, and this is not a marketing lecture, so don't get too happy about this, but just so you can share numbers, they got a lot of active users. A lot of them who don't know how to use it. We'll speak about that in a little bit, inshallah. And it's been around for 6 years. And for me, I think I struggled and suffered the most with this application for reasons I will explain soon, inshallah. But there are two disclaimers I would like to give before I start addressing some of these issues or highlighting what I call the pain points. First is I decided to put this lecture together so I can tackle to the best of my ability some of the etiquettes of using this app based on Islamic guidelines. Because it's not going to come from my mind, the guidelines. There are certain things which are, black and white. Halal or haram, period. Alright? Those I'll make clear, inshallah. And there are things which I have to admit are subjective. They are based on my opinion, which you have every right in the world to refuse. Just so I can make it clear. I'm not imposing my opinion in regards to some of the pain points on anybody. You could say, well, it bothers you, it doesn't bother me. Case closed. I will not argue with you. So I will highlight what is not negotiable Islamically, unless you have evidence from Islam, in which case we'll open a discussion again, and what is just simply opinion, subjective, which we may agree or disagree on. But from my experience, those whom I've shared this opinion with seem to share the pain. That they agree that these are annoying to everybody, not just, myself. So that's just a disclaimer. And then lastly, I will try to mention some tips and tricks about using WhatsApp, so we can make it more technical and beneficial. Because there are some things, if you know about WhatsApp, it will make your life easier, right? Nothing very sophisticated, but at least general guidelines. Like muting a conversation, you can mute a conversation so that it doesn't constantly bother you until you open the application and you see the people fighting with each other for the last, 3 hours. On a group of 200 people, 2 guys just going back and forth. Hey, how's it going? It's good. So when are you coming? Next week. MashaAllah. And then we'll deal with it. And you're just like, You open your WhatsApp and you have 99 messages, you're like, oh, something happened, and these two guys just having a conversation. Like, really, brother? Like, you couldn't just like take this in a private discussion and like save us the headache, but mute this group and until further notice. 1 week, I think, well, you have options, right? 8 hours, 1 week, or maybe like a month. A month is nice. Anyways, so first things first, let's lay down the foundations. Is it halal or haram? Let's get a voting from the crowd. MashaAllah, big crowd. WhatsApp is that popular, right? Other lectures which were about Aqidah and Tawheed, we had half of the people. WhatsApp, everybody comes. Ma fi mushkila, as long as you come, we're happy. So who thinks WhatsApp is haram? Raise your hand. I gave the explanation earlier, so now nobody's going to raise their hand. It's my fault. No one? So who thinks it's halal? Obviously everybody else, right? But can it be haram? Yes. Yeah. What makes it haram? Let's deal with the main things, which I believe very few would argue with. Still, you might find some people that have their own opinion, which we will respect. But generally, we will agree. If it's a matter of male, female, without any purpose or guidelines, it's just, you know what I'm saying, then that's a no-no. And nowadays, people, meet each other randomly. Random ways, somehow two people in a group, they start a private messaging and then that could lead to all types of stuff. We all agree that this is a no-no. How many of us might have fallen into that, are falling into that? Allah knows best. Allah knows best. But we are we are pleased that Allah Azza wa Jal is the most forgiving, the most merciful, and the one who conceals. So whatever we've done, done. But male-female communication is not allowed, except when necessary. That is usually for asking questions that you cannot ask anyone else otherwise. And then both genders have to maintain decency. Now a lot of what they call emoticons, or there's a different way of pronouncing it, those are, they kind of sweeten the conversation. When you start using certain things in certain of these, faces and whatever, it becomes a flirtatious type of conversation. So we have to bear in mind that these are very sensitive, right? The one with the 2 tears, laughing so hard and whatever. If you're having a private conversation with a female, that might not be the wisest thing to do. In fact, it is not the wisest thing to do. Secondly, what definitely makes WhatsApp haram is spreading false information. Someone sends you a flyer or an image that has 10 fingers, and that's something about cutting the nails. Don't cut your nails on Friday, or something of the sort, or you have to begin with this finger and end with that finger, or any type of nonsense now that the people spread is among the means that will make you sinful. Now that becomes disastrous when you broadcast this message to hundreds of people, either on a group or to the broadcast, or even privately. So any information that is not Islamically verified by qualified people is problematic. And the way our deen works, especially nowadays because of the prevalence of information over the internet and what have you, anyone has access to anything. And if we don't have certain restrictions, and if we don't regulate what is being circulated, it will often backfire. So never ever share anything that you have not verified to be authentic. And if you want more information, go back to the lecture, do not forward. For those who remember that lecture, who attended do not forward maybe like 4 years ago? You remember? That was mashallah classic, because there were so many examples of emails. Back then it was like emails, right? People send that, they would force you to forward about the verses of Ayat al-Kursi, which are not there from the Sunnah, or Surah al-Waqi', or Surah al-Rahman, and so on and so forth. All of them are weak narrations, fabricated narrations. And then you cannot, during adhan, if you speak, then you will not be able to say the Shahadah when you die. All of these are baseless. Some Maulana somewhere thought of it, he thought it was a good idea, he said it to his student gave bayan, the people heard the bayan, then they said to other people, it became now sunnah, but it's not from the sunnah. It's just not from the sunnah. It happens. So don't spread false information. Thirdly, lying. Right? Many people lying obviously can take place on any platform, either in real life, in person, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, in emails, whatever. So lying is among the things which are haram, clear cut, and if we engage in lying on WhatsApp, then that just becomes the lying that is a problem. And then lastly, backbiting. Backbiting can easily spread on WhatsApp. It can easily, type of gossip and problems, and there's a lecture, we delivered the lecture on gossiping and backbiting. Remember, it's titled, What is Between the Jaws? Restrain It. You can go back and check it out on YouTube. The guidelines of using the tongue and so on and so forth, so that we will not wind up violating the rights of Allah. Because the tongue is the most important organ in the body after the heart. In fact, the tongue is the extension of the heart. The most important organ is the heart. The Prophet ﷺ said, أَلَا وَإِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ مُضْغَةً. Verily in the human body there's a morsel, there's a piece of flesh. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. If it's right and upright, the whole body will be upright. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. And if it's corrupt, the whole body will be corrupt. That is the heart. أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبِ. But then the heart is expressed with the tongue. That's why if you believe in La ilaha illallah, do you have to say it verbally? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Can someone say, I believe, but I'm not going to say the Shahadah? Sorry, what's in your heart is insufficient. If you're mute, you're disabled, you have no ability to articulate it, no problem. You cannot pronounce it, no problem. But if someone says, I will believe in the Shahadah in my heart, but I will not uttering with my tongue, he would not enter Islam. It is mandatory to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. In salah, you have to say it. Can you pray without Fatiha, without reciting, without moving your lips? You cannot. If you stand, many Muslims stand like this in salah. Allahu Akbar, then you look at them, their lips are not moving. You're not praying. You can be there for days, barakallah feek. If you haven't moved these lips to recite Fatiha, you have not prayed. The scholars say it's a condition to move the lips to recite the Fatiha. Reciting Fatiha in your heart doesn't count. Making dua in your heart doesn't count. Now you may be in a situation where you think about Allah Azza wa Jal, or you think of a dua, that's between you and Allah. But the actual dua which we know of has to do with moving the tongue and the lips. You have to move your mouth for that to count. And therefore, we have to speak, we have to utter these things. So the tongue expresses what's in the heart. And it becomes very dangerous because we could lie, we could backbite, we could gossip, we could disbelieve with our tongue. A person leaves Islam with one word. The Prophet ﷺ said, verily the slave will say a word that he doesn't pay attention to, it will send him into the hellfire between the distance of the east and the west. One word a person says. One mockery of the sunnah could be sufficient, subhanallah, to exclude someone from the folds of Islam. So the tongue is very important. And it doesn't have to be that we speak, because now you can type backbiting. You can type it out. And so we have to be careful. Family members speaking about family members, other family members that is, or anyone speaking about their other Muslims, this is not allowed. Exceptions are mentioned in the book of Imam al-Nawawi. There are exceptions to backbiting, which is warning against innovations and innovators, warning the Muslims against evil. If someone seeks your advice about marriage, you know, I want to give my daughter to Fulan. What do you know about Fulan? You know Fulan doesn't pray and he smokes. You cannot tell him, Wallah miya miya. Wallahi, mashallah, tabarakallah. Why, ya akhi, I don't want to backbite the brother. No, you have betrayed your brother who asked you for sincere advice. And Islamically, you're obliged to tell him, he smokes and he doesn't pray in the masjid. Because the brother is looking for marriage for his daughter. You cannot sugarcoat there and try to be, you cannot be a nice guy. You're forced to say the truth. And this is not backbiting. A person seeking fatwa from a sheikh, in the process have to say, you know, my wife did this, or my son, and he knows that wife or the son, or fulan, or the neighbor. And without mentioning that person, the mufti cannot give the fatwa. You're allowed to mention. Or when you're oppressed. If your manager is oppressing you, no promotion, no increase in salary, overloading you with work, and he's a Muslim. You say, go complain to the HR. La wallah ya shaykh. Backbiting. Allah hadi, go to the HR. Are you backbiting? This is your right. And you're being oppressed. So even if you went to the HR, said, Fulan, Mr. Ahmad, doesn't do this, and he gives me a lot of work, and he doesn't help me, and blah, blah, blah. It's not backbiting. You're allowed, if not obliged, to do this. So I'm saying this so no one will think, well, you're contradicting yourself. Huh? Inshallah, no contradictions. So these are the 4 fundamental things which can happen on WhatsApp in terms of the clear-cut haram unless you can think of more. But then there are other things which are painful and are annoying or can lead to haram or are haram depending on how lenient or strict you are. And we're going to leave it like that. We're not going to, make things difficult. We'll just mention them in that bubble, and then you each see it in your own way. So what are some of the pain points that we suffer on WhatsApp from? One of the most common ones is the one-word message. The one-word message. But is it really one-word message? No. It's messages, but each one is one word. So you're sitting with your family, and all of a sudden you hear, whatever your notification is. Let's say it's toot toot. You hear toot 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 toot, and you think someone died. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and you run to the phone, and someone says, "Hi, brother, how?" Hi, one line. Brother, one line. How? One line. Or, one line. You are, question mark. 6 messages, ya akhi, to ask me, "Hi brother, how are you?" Jazakallah khair, ya shaykh. Put them in one sentence. Put them in one sentence for the sake of Allah. Wallah, it's easy. Human beings are hasty. So what we do is, as soon as we type 4 or 5 words, send them out. And I'm guilty of this too. Don't think I don't do this. It's one of the most difficult things to manage. But my advice to me, and then to you, let's try to manage this. Try to consolidate your thoughts and ideas into a single message, and then send it out. It makes no sense that you put dots in separate messages, question marks in separate messages, exclamation marks in separate messages, when they belong to the previous sentence, even from a linguistic point of view. So this one-word message is haram. Haram in a sense, not Islamically, haram upon the people to burden them to this extent, and then it's usually something that is not a big deal, right? Something that could have waited or could have been put in one sentence, or one message. Second, useless group shares, right? We have, from people in Jeddah, we have a bunch of Islamic groups, right? And the name of the group is like Jeddah Islamic Events. And then people send all types of stuff that is completely irrelevant. It's so irrelevant, it bugs you. Why am I getting this type of message on a group that has to do with Islamic stuff? Now, we could be all comfortable to a point on the group that we don't mind, or a topic has been addressed and the people thought it was entertaining, so we kept it. But sometimes you get things that are completely irrelevant to the nature of the group. So the group have a nature, we should maintain it. If it's about a picnic, then the things which are shared that have to do with going out on picnics and camping, and so on and so forth. Mixing and matching will have an impact on the people that will eventually exit from the group. So don't drive people away. Keep the group for what it's made for, unless you all agree that you will discuss other things in the group. Or you can seek permission. Can I promote something here? Can I discuss smartphones here? Does anyone mind? If nobody minds, khalas, that becomes part of the group as well. But if there's no such approval, have mercy on the people. Someone joined an Islamic events group, he doesn't want to hear about, some silly joke or poetry. 3, and this, I don't know if you're in a position of answering questions. I need an answer now. This is the one I go through the most. So you know how WhatsApp is. It's not like somebody says, I'm going to add you, right? Out of nowhere, while you're sitting peacefully enjoying life, suddenly a number and a message pops up. Plus 919, plus 44756, plus 966, whatever the country. Fulan or fulana, you don't know who that is either. Sometimes they don't even bother saying, salamu alaikum, marhaba, anything. There's just a question, and the question is like so brief, it's like 3-4 words, right? Is this halal or haram, for example? So you're at work, okay, I'm at work, and let's say I got the message on my watch, or I got to see the message, but my boss is speaking to me. So I put the phone back down, because I'm focusing on my job. A minute later, 3 question marks, and 3 exclamation marks. Like, what's wrong with you? I saw the blue tick. I hired you. I hired you 20 years ago without telling you, and I've been paying you all these years for this one day when I asked you the question to give me an instant reply, and you failed. And then you try to explain like, excuse me, but hello, I have things to do. Just because I read the message does not necessarily mean I'm ready to reply now. I'm saying this for those in the future. Like, have mercy on each other. I mean, assume some good, that the person is not always able to attend to you on the spot. Some questions are difficult to answer, so they're just not answered. So this, I need an answer now, or the fact that you saw someone's blue tick does not mean that they ignored you. That's my advice to everybody. Somebody sent it to his wife. Then 5 minutes later, you read the message. You call her on the phone, I know you read the message. Why haven't you? Ya Sheikh, maybe her hands were dirty, she wasn't able to respond on the spot. Give her a break, and vice versa. So don't start assuming all types of evil because somebody did the tick. Now what was the solution? You go to the settings and you turn it off. So no one sees. But then you cannot see others, right? So like usually the next day you say, forget this. I don't know who read my message, who didn't, so you wind up removing that setting again because you want to see whether people read your messages or not. There's no solution for this. They cannot allow you to block the people from seeing yours and then you can see theirs. So that's one of the pain points. So if you saw a blue tick or a blue microphone that was, they heard the message, please assume that maybe they weren't able to respond. And they shall respond at a certain point in time. Fourthly, and this is like, wow. Let's create a group without telling anyone why. Just one beautiful morning, as soon as you wake up, after you say the adhkar of waking up and everything, you turn on the internet and then you see like 50 messages, like who messaged me overnight? And you found yourself in a group. Group created by Mr. Plus number, and all the numbers there are unknown to you. And they're speaking Urdu. I'm like, why? No, that's not the funny part. Here's the funny part. I exit the group. 2 minutes later, I'm back into the group. Ya akhi, wallah, by force. At least bother to explain. What is this group for? Ya Sheikh, even if it was in my language, what is this trespassing or soliciting people's privacy? Islamically, really, if I'm going to create a group and I know the target audience, you have one of two things. So if you have 4 people, you want to create a group for some event. There's an alignment between you. Either you're aligned already verbally, you just create the group, they're expecting it, they know you already, or you have to send the person a private message. Brother, I'm going to create a group for Islamic questions and answers. Do you mind joining the group? And then give the brother the chance to say yay or nay. This is not just for the one who's going to answer, even for the recipient who's going to hear. Maybe he has limited data. He cannot afford to be on another group that's going to consume his data. For example, so the etiquettes entail that you seek permission. Let's assume it was an urgent matter. You weren't able to go to each guy and tell him, brother, this is the story, copy paste message. They didn't reply. You created the group instantly. The first thing you should do is make an announcement. Preferably by voice maybe, if it's too much to type. A voice message saves a lot of time. And this is one of the things I will discuss soon, inshallah. Leave a voice message. Assalamu alaikum. This group was created for our next business trip to China, whatever that is. Even business, I'm not just talking about da'wah. This is WhatsApp in regards to everything. So if I have added you by mistake, or if you're not interested, please feel free to leave. No one will be mad. That is nice. Imagine if we did this. Has alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. You would probably stay. And if you left, you don't feel like a jerk. Personally, I feel like a jerk. Every time I exit the group, I feel like they're going to think that this guy, he thinks he's too special. No, it's just I cannot handle so many groups in one day. And no one notified me about the purpose behind my presence in this group. So one of the etiquettes is to align with the people. Notify them before you create a group, because that's mannerism. It's almost like you go into someone's home, you just open a door, sit on the couch. Hey, how's it going, man? Give me some water, please. It's like, excuse me, brother, do you knock on the door? Can you at least tell me that you're coming to the house? Nah, no need, akhi. Come on, it's a WhatsApp age. It's all good. Just sit down, relax. No, get out, I'm not ready for you. My mother's coming. She's not going to be happy when she sees you over here. So I mean, this is manners. And WhatsApp we have to have these manners. Don't create a group and add people without knowing. Now once, it was even crazier. Some brother who I haven't seen like 20 years or something, right? Obviously after years, Allah khair, of not having children, he finally, Allah blessed him with a child. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless the child. So for the occasion, he decided to create a group and share the happiness with the brothers. So the group was, I found myself in the group, and automatically, if you haven't yet turned off the auto download of images and videos and audio, you just find 5-6 videos of a baby that I don't know. And 20 images of the same baby from every pose. From this pose, this pose, this pose. Like, dude, who cares? It's one baby, one picture will do the job. It's not like I'm going to study his form and his nose angle from, I mean, who cares? It's one baby. He's happy, I understand he's happy. But brother, you just suddenly bomb rushed us and bombarded us with all this information, and no one ever told us what's going on. What did I get? I thought I had the baby and I didn't know. I'm like, what is this going? Is this my baby or something? This doesn't concern me. Of course, after and the brother left the group by mistake. The one who made the group, he somehow exited by mistake. So he sent a message to another brother who became the admin. Said, tell everybody to leave the group now. I was like, really? Does this really happen in real life? This will be part of the lecture. And I told him, said, I'm going to leave one voice message. This will be in the lecture, inshallah. Goodbye. And there it is. I did it. طيب. Yeah. The reminders. Are reminders good? Yes. The Prophet ﷺ, did he just advise the Sahaba around the clock? Would he just give him like 20 narrations or 20 things to learn and do at the same time? No. In fact, the Sahaba described, the Prophet ﷺ would select the time of nasiha, admonishment, so حتى لا نمل, so that we will not be bored. Human beings, at the end of the day, human beings. We are human beings. So even when you want to send a reminder, ya akhi, it does not make sense that you forward 10 reminders simultaneously. From 0 to 8 messages in 3 seconds. And each one, if you download, who by Allah, tell me, which one of you have ever received 10 reminders? Each one has a hadith or an ayah or a reminder, and actually downloaded all 10 and read them. Maybe 1 or 2. For the majority, what happens? You just think this is spam. Even if the message is valuable, you feel spam. I've reached a point where as soon as the message comes, I go back out and delete the conversation. Not only I don't download the thing, I don't even keep the conversation, because it almost becomes like spam. If you're giving da'wah, you cannot let da'wah reach the level of being spam. That is belittling the da'wah. So when given da'wah, there has to be also wisdom. There are times, every now and then you send a video, you send a reminder, you send an ayah, you send a tadhkira, maw'idha, whatever. But it has to be time. There has to be a proper, wise way of disseminating the reminders and the admonishments. You don't just bombard the people with 10 reminders at the same time. Because they will lose focus and lose track of what's going on. And most people will lose interest. And so this is, again, and this is when it's da'wah reminders. Let alone 10 pictures. Like I told you, of either the baby or someone took a picture of their car and then they want to show you every single angle. Again, something irrelevant. Now, bear in mind that not everyone has unlimited data. Some are living on 1 gigabyte per month, some on 512 megabytes per month, some on 2 gigabytes per month, and what have you. And the amount of stuff you download, it will eventually consume your internet, and then the operators will take a nice chunk of money from you for every additional kilobyte. Especially if you're roaming, if you're traveling abroad. You could come back with a 5,000 riyal bill simply by mismanaging your data if you don't know what's going on. They will open a data for you, but they will not tell you that you're being charged right now because you've already reached your cap, your limit. So I mean, again, always think about others. Not everyone has the ability to download these humongous or many pictures. Try to be selective and send what you think is beneficial and important. In the context of that, the famous no caption, download my surprise. So you're on a group and then a video comes, and you know when a video or picture comes, is it clear or blurry? It's blurry. What is the only thing you see? The time, duration, and the size. 20 megabytes is the limit. I think 20 or 25, huh? 20 megabytes, and then usually 1 minute. Huh? High quality, full HD. طيب, what is the content? La, brother, I will not tell you. It's a surprise. Ya Habibi, what surprise is this? Ya akhi, why do you think in WhatsApp they made this caption? When you forward now, when you send a video, there's a caption. There's you write comments on the attached. Now, I know when you forward, you don't have this privilege. So you can type it out and copy paste. But it's only fair when you forward an image is not a big deal probably, a video that is huge in size. Tell the brothers, above is a beautiful recitation of the Quran by Shaykh Fulan Fulan. This is an event that anything that will either interest the people, so they're like, okay, this is worth it for me. It's 20 megabytes, but I'm willing to sacrifice these 20 megabytes for this. Rather than the people have to miss out on the good things you sent because they cannot afford it, or download it to find out it's some woman dancing. You say, brother, what is this? Oh, by mistake, I was saying it to my wife. Come on, man. Give us a break. So, caption. Use the caption. When you want, etiquettes, it's etiquettes. When you forward something, use the caption. Utilize it, or send a comment about the content, giving the people the option either to download or to reject. Okay, I already mentioned the two people chatting on a group. So if you see that the conversation is becoming somewhat private, then take it to private and spare the group. Unless one person has said something that you believe impacted the group, and therefore you have to say something so that the same people are notified. You don't want to leave them kind of, in the dark. In which case you may be forced to continue that one-on-one conversation on a group because it's relevant to the people. But once it's not relevant to the people, then the only logical thing is, let us have a private message and spare the group the 100 messages that they don't need to read. Answering questions for the sake of it. Someone on Islamic groups, this is relevant for Islamic groups, or maybe even in the business field. Someone sends a question to a particular person, then 4 people say, let me offer an answer for the sake of it. No, it's not allowed. But the brother didn't ask you. Yeah, it's okay. But I think it's not allowed. Why do you think it's not allowed? Wallahi, I have a feeling. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, brother. That's a beautiful feeling that you have. Can you stop having this feeling and either base your information on, evidence? How about evidence? That this is okay for such and such evidence, or it's not okay for such and such evidence. It's not about how you feel. So honestly, if one of us is not qualified, don't. And you can ask the people who send me, 80% of my answers is 2. I don't know, check islamqa.info. That's what I usually send. Because most of the stuff is already on islamqa.info, which is my advice to you. Before you ask somebody, check on islamqa.info. 95% of the time, the fatwa is there and the answer is there by scholars. And you don't have to go asking Fulan and Allan to answer, these questions. They're already there. MashaAllah, it's one of the most useful, resourceful websites you will ever find. In English, in Urdu, in Chinese, in Bengali, any language you think of, MashaAllah, it's there. All these fatwa are pretty much translated. And very well translated, I would say. Very well translated. So, don't answer questions if you're not asked. Haram emoticons. The face with the halo. When someone wants to share their innocence, or I'm a good boy, they send that, that smiley face, the yellow face with the halo. No. Because that halo represents, in Christianity, an angelic type of character. It's supposed to be for the angels, meaning it's a concept of I am good as an angel. Now in Islam, do we believe angels in Islam are like the angels in Christianity that we've seen in their idols and statues? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you cannot be sending the one with the halo, let alone anyone with the devil. There are many ones that are devilish, the red devil and stuff like that. We don't know what shaitan and iblis look like. Therefore, we're not allowed to draw him. Some people make videos or the different things trying to symbolize or materialize the appearance of iblis. We don't have the right in Islam to do this. We don't know what he looks like. It's from the knowledge of the unseen. So these emoticons that are devilish in their nature are not allowed, even if you're trying to say you're being a bad boy or a bad girl. This one, many people send it as a prayer. And this is again used amongst Buddhists and among Christians. Christians usually kneel on their knees and they make this particular form to supplicate, to ask God. In Islam, how do you make dua? You have your hands facing as-sama like this, and you raise it. We never made dua like this. Maybe they do it in karate or something also. So this particular emoticon is not allowed because it resembles it. And if you look at it, don't believe me, Google these things. These are among the things which is halal to Google. Google, go look it up and find out the explanation, which I did on your behalf. I did. And this is a religious symbol. It is a religious symbol. The same with this one. Saw that one coming. You know this one? This is also a symbol of iblis. These are the two horns of shaitan. And this is one of the hand symbols on WhatsApp. People don't know what it means, they just send it. They just look through all the different, fingers that they have, and they just want to send anything unique. So they send this one. No, you cannot send this one. So among all the lists that of course they have pigs and all types of stuff, and they've added the Kaaba. The Kaaba is now there, in case you haven't seen it. But anyways, long story short, you have to be selective in these emoticons. Not everything is halal to share. Some of them are haram, as I mentioned earlier. Okay. Another one is the famous Amaanah. It's an Amaanah on your neck until the day of judgment that you send this message to all your contacts. And the funny thing is, I received the same message like over the past 3 years with a different woman. Each time it's a woman. She was first Palestinian, then she became Australian, then she became I don't know what. Supposedly the story is, my name is whatever, I'm a revert to Islam, I have stage 3 cancer, something, I'm in the hospital. Amaanah, I place it on your neck that you make dua for me. And that you send this to all of your contacts. And if you do, I will hold you accountable. If you don't, I will hold you accountable on the day of judgment for Allah. Hoya! Hey! And no, the latest version, they have a picture of her with a niqab and the whole shebang, yani. And to make it more real. It's the same woman that you see on all websites that represents a Western Muslim, right? The same lady, she plays all these roles. We just didn't know. So it turned out to be the one with the cancer. Yeah, right. Well, you cannot do this to people. Can I tell you, brother, Amaanah, every time you see a person asking for 1 riyal. And if you don't, wallahi, I will hold you accountable before Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Ish hada ya akhi? What kind of business is this you impose on the people? Send it to all you have to send it to all your contacts. I have 2,400 people in my contacts. How in the world am I going to send this to everybody? What kind of burden are you placing on the believers with this type of nonsense? If you want us to make dua, please make dua for me. The average Muslim, wallahi, the average Muslim with the lowest iman will take at least 10 seconds. When they hear a message like this, oh Allah, give her shifa. The lousiest Muslim will do this. Once you get this Amaanah and burden, people, panic. You're not allowed to do this, ya akhwan. You cannot say that, you cannot force the people to do things just because you have asked them to do them for the sake of Allah. This is a burden upon the believers. You'll be held accountable for it as well. Okay. Ellipsis. I don't know if you know what ellipsis is. You can search that as well. Ellipsis is when you leave 3 dots, generally 3 dots, that indicate that basically the act of leaving out one or more words that are not necessary for a phrase to be understood. Now this is a very subliminal way of trying to be sarcastic or trying to deliver a particular message, and it can also be misused. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to be familiar, and I'm not trying to make this an academic discussion, but honestly, I believe all Muslims should aspire to become the best in everything. Okay, we don't want to be the best Muslims. We want to be the best Muslims, the best employees, the most educated people, the most qualified people, the most skillful people, the most athletic people. This should be this is how we're supposed to be. Because if we don't have this at a high level, then the society will always be beat down by others. It will always be walked all over. But when we hold the highest positions, we will run the world. Peacefully. Peacefully. We don't have to be, killing people violently, supposedly for the sake of Allah, to rule the world. It doesn't work. How it works is by that mannerism and character, which we lack. And our lack of professionalism as well. So I would say there are some things, ya akhwan, which we have to learn from a linguistic point of view. And Islam is pro-language. The Arabic language, the richness of the language, the eloquence in the language, all of them are signs. And whatever native language we speak. So in English you have punctuation marks that make the whole difference. How do you differentiate between a declarative sentence, someone is sharing information with you, or an exclamatory sentence, someone is just trying to be loud in the way they communicate a message, or an interrogative sentence, someone asking you a question if you don't put a question mark. So when someone says, "Sir, you stopped using WhatsApp," period. What do you understand from that? Is he asking me if I stopped, or he's telling me that I stopped? I understood that it's a statement. I said, "Brother, what? What are you talking about?" He said, "So did you stop?" I said, "Where's the question mark? Ma'alish." First of all, restructure the sentence by beginning with what is supposed to be used for asking a question. Have you stopped using WhatsApp? Did you stop using WhatsApp? Even if you didn't, you're too lazy, it's WhatsApp. I mean, you're not writing an essay with your professor in school. I understand, you want to be easygoing. Yeah, Sheikh, a question mark is just as easy as a period. It's just as easy. A question mark can solve hundreds of problems. So somebody writes a long thing and then the question is somewhere in there, and sometimes when you read it, you don't identify the question. Why? No punctuation, no period, no comma, no full stop, no capital letters. I'm not being too technical, or I might be. This is the subjective part, which I told you can ignore me. You can think this guy is a perfectionist, he's a maniac, I'll ignore him, no problem, I'm not upset. But if you don't feel this way, then try to enhance your communication skills even on these platforms. You will find that it will benefit you in the long run. Wallahi, it will solve a lot of conflicts which otherwise might happen if you don't follow certain guidelines in languages, whatever language you use. So some of these dots, or when you send 3 question marks, by the way, if you go to certain websites and research linguistic websites, they mention how offensive is 1 question mark. Not offensive, it's normal. 2 question marks, it's a little bit. 3, it's a big deal. 4, they said it's not allowed. According to certain people in the linguistic field, you're not allowed to ever put 4 question marks. So that's like going overboard and screaming about something that you want an answer for. So they actually have etiquettes in using punctuation. And that's right. So when you have exclamation marks, many of them are question marks, either it's a sarcastic joke, it's your friend, and you say, "Brother, where are you?" And you put 3, he's not mad. But if it's someone you don't know, this is like you screaming at them. When you send an email all caps lock with red font, you're basically screaming at someone. This is not a standard email. It's not a standard message. You're trying to say something, you're upset, you're raising a flag. So if we don't know these things, we might wind up offending people unintentionally. One of us might offend someone else unintentionally because of not following some of these guidelines. Long messages. I mean, you cannot copy a book or a long email and paste it into WhatsApp and expect someone to scroll for like 8 minutes to read it. Unless you have the most amazing piece of, I don't know what, the most amazing piece of art, in literature. But in reality, people can only take so much. The average message, a few lines, you're able to scroll down once, twice, 3 times. Then afterwards, most people will stop reading. Because while they're reading your message, they will get a message from another person, which is more important. So they will leave your message, go read the other message. Now they're busy replying to the other person, your message will never be it will never come around again. It will never be attended to again. So even when we send messages, we have to be, what's up with the phones today? No phones, please. Put them on vibrate. We have to be moderate in the length of the messages. Otherwise, people will not read the whole thing. They will not read the whole thing. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ اللَّهِ. Lack of manners in asking questions. That's another thing. So, again, look, what does Islam teach? You go to a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant, are you the employee or the guest? You're the guest, right? You're the one paying. You're technically paying for the waiter, for his salary, because you're one of the customers. And you're paying for the manager. And you're paying for the rent of this establishment. In fact, without you, this business will shut down. True or false? Can any restaurant open say, Wallah, we don't need any customers, stay outside. We will just manage on our own? La habibi. Without us, you're nothing. Therefore, when I come, I'm supposed to be king. Each one of us. When you walk into a restaurant, you're supposed to have the whole staff. From the manager to the busboy. Everybody's supposed to be there at your service to make sure you're happy. In reality, we don't see this, right? Which is cool. In spite of that, can you, because of this, say to the waiter, hey, come here. Give me some bread. And then you continue having the... Is that an Islamic manner that you deal with the people? La wallah. La wallah. Islam does not allow you to do this. Salaam alaikum wa alaikum salam. Kayf al-hal? Inshallah tayyib. Wallahi, if you don't mind. French fries, one burger with no tomatoes, whatever. Jazakallah khair. Shukran. Shukran ya'tik al-afi. This is, when he comes, shukran. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please. No, please. Thank you, please. Please, thank you. This is how you deal with a restaurant, with a waiter who is living off of you. Still, you have manners in dealing with this human being. Even if he's not Muslim, not just because he's Muslim. Inshallah, he's anything. This is manners which we're supposed to have. Similarly, when we're communicating through these things, you have to use please and thank you. Or if you don't like them, some people don't like them, say, Jazakallahu khairan, we're not getting picky and technical on what you use, if you prefer that Islamic dua. Because Islam is not against shukran. لا يشكر الله من لا يشكر الناس. We have the term shukr. وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. It's not an aggressive, unacceptable Islamic term to say shukran. If you want to say that as opposed to Jazakallah khairan. But regardless, these are the manners. So when you send something to someone, brother, please, if you don't mind, I have a concern. Can you answer it when you have time? This is how we're supposed to be. Not, no please, no thank you, no nothing. Just do it. No one will accept that. No one will accept that. Because human beings are human beings. They expect from others the way they treat others as well. They expect certain level of respect and whatever you want to call it. And this should be mutual. Between the one asking question and the one answering questions, there should be mutual respect between the two. So please, let us follow the etiquettes of mannerism, using the terms please and if you don't mind and thank you, showing appreciation to anyone who's doing anything for you, within Islam or outside of Islam. Because we don't see these nowadays. Fatwa hotline. Some people think that any Islamic group is supposed to be a fatwa hotline. Since you don't have an 800 number to call, if you send the message to the group and then they warn you, they threaten you, if you don't answer, I'm going to leave the group. You have 2 hours to answer my question or I'm leaving the group. Yeah, brother, what if the person who you're looking for their answer, they don't have time in 2 hours to answer your question. They need a couple more days, or whatever the case may be. So there isn't any really fatwa hotline on WhatsApp. Everything is within a person's personal space, family time, work time, and then leisure time, WhatsApp time. Everything has to be timed, and there's a time for everything. It's management. It's about time management. So we should also lower our expectations when it comes to dealing with each other. Give each other some time and some space. Now, the fact that we said all this about WhatsApp, someone can say, oh, that's nice, but I use Line. Or what is that other one? Huh? Emo? I didn't even know about emo. That's a horrible name in Arabic. But anyways, and there's what? Cow and Kit Kat, and all types of stuff, right? Don't be funny, say, okay, I will stop using these on WhatsApp, but I'll keep doing them somewhere else. We're using WhatsApp as the most popular one, but any platform, for this matter, where such communication takes place, then these guidelines are to be followed as well. So, in conclusion, WhatsApp has become a part of our lives, whether you like it or not. Some people, they eventually uninstall the thing and they live their life happily ever after. Maybe. Most people come back, just for the record, because at some point you find a reason why you need to be back. SubhanAllah, whatever the case may be, as long as we're using it, if you decide to continue using it, and since it has become part, husband, wife communicate on WhatsApp, father with children, mother with children, mother with grandmother, everybody, it seems to me at least, that WhatsApp is all over the place, all over the world. In third world countries, fourth world countries, first world countries, everybody's using it. If it's going to be part of our lives, then we as Muslims have to set the standards for the rest of mankind. We have to raise the bar by following the Islamic guidelines. We can give da'wah by even not mentioning anything about Islam specifically, directly. By actually following these manners, because people have lost these, illa man rahimallah. So if we integrate them, so first we are not sinful. Second, we can be rewarded, because you get rewarded. You can use it for da'wah in a proper way. You can use it to spread khair, to circulate beneficial information, to ask questions, to answer questions, to facilitate all types of events, family reunions, family, keeping the kinship ties. Alhamdulillah, it's means for all this good. We don't want to ruin that by misusing it and making it a burden upon ourselves and a burden upon others. So as Muslims, we want to raise the bar and be the best out there and using WhatsApp. Perhaps the rest of the world will follow our footsteps, and then we can all enjoy WhatsApp for as long as it stays until the next thing comes around and it becomes, the next big thing. So هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا Muhammad. Exactly 57 minutes, alhamdulillah. So if you have questions, we can quickly deal with them, inshallah, hopefully related to the topic. Yes, sir. Alaikum salam, brother. Hayakallah. Yes, sir.
I see these WhatsApp logos and they say ASA, and that's supposed to mean Assalamu alaikum, and I see WAS. I don't understand that. That's question number one.
Correct.
Number two, I think that if I'm at my workplace and I have a job to do, and I have people that I'm supposed to serve, and I'm sitting there on WhatsApp, that this is not correct.
Okay.
And if you come to my house to have dinner with me, then you should put that WhatsApp on the side and have dinner with me.
All right.
To your house to have dinner with you, I should not be WhatsApping at that particular time.
Cool.
I just wanted to ask your opinion on this.
Jazakallah khair. I would say for the first one, there's actually a fatwa from the scholars that basically you may not use these what we call in English acronyms, right? Some people call it abbreviation, but more technically it's an acronym. Acronym is when you get the first letter of each word and put them together. So National Basketball Association, NBA. That's not like an abbreviation, which is usually a long word like department. It becomes DEPT. It's not the same thing, right? Abbreviation is when you usually cut a word into half and put a dot at the end usually. And acronym is when you get one letter. They're sometimes used interchangeably. They still call acronyms abbreviations, just in case you know about that. But regardless, the scholars say you may not use these acronyms for Islamic things. For example, peace be upon him, you cannot put PBUH. Or alayhi salam AS, or assalamu alaikum, as the brother mentioned. These may not be used. Of course, you're super lazy, we got that. But in reality, it's not understandable for everyone. And it's belittlement of that. And it began, by the way, among the Arabs. When they were writing books, they started writing Sad next to the name of the Prophet ﷺ to indicate that this is sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the scholars did not allow this. So the popular fatwa, you may have another fatwa, but the popular fatwa I'm familiar with is you may not use these ad'iyah, because salam alaikum is a dua. Salatu salam alayhi is a dua to the Prophet alayhi salam. You may not use these acronyms to reflect those. You have to write them in totality. Now, to be fair, some of the scholars allow that you respond or say these things verbally. So for example, I'm busy. You send me assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are you free? Some of the scholars say you may say verbally, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, yes. And you don't have to now type out, because that could be a long time. If 10 people send you salam and you're going to reply to 10 of them, khalas, the day is gone. Now, a useful tip and trick is the swipe keyboard. Maybe you want to pay 99 cents, huh? But if you purchase certain keyboards, they have the swipe function which allows you to run your finger over the letters to write a word, and then you can add it to the dictionary. You can add these words. So when I write inshallah, I just swipe my finger over INSHAAA. I go like this, and it's already in my vocabulary. I've added this to my dictionary. It just automatically comes up. Or you can train your keyboard. So when you write as-salam, as soon as you put AS, then it gives you the whole word. Just kind of auto correction tab or auto fill in, whatever they call it. So there are some useful things to make it easy to reply in totality. But yes, agreed. And another point the brother Zallah Khair mentioned, which is now we go back to the etiquettes or what is subjective. For most people, it is rude and offensive if you're sitting with them and that you're using your phone whilst you're supposed to be having a conversation with someone. Now, to be fair, if two people both don't mind, then that would be how people are now. They have dinner together, which means they're on the same table, but they're not together, right? He's on WhatsApp with Fulan and he's on WhatsApp with Fulan. But they happen to be on the same table and ate and paid the same bill or something like that. But in reality, if you're trying to spend time with someone, yeah, the phone should be put away. Unless it's an urgent matter, you have to reply. Oh, you seek permission. Ma'alish brother, this is important. It's my wife, I need to tell her that I'm going to be late. Or my mom or something. Ma fi mushkila. But generally, yes, it's somewhat of rude to be ignoring someone while you're busy on the phone. Whether you're WhatsApping or you're doing something else.
And in your work environment.
Yeah, the work environment, again, I would say it depends on the job. So if the person's job is one where they're supposed to, for like X amount of hours, be putting out work the whole time and they're playing, because WhatsApp could be playing. If they're not, in my case, we use it for work. Like all work is on WhatsApp. We share information, market visits, whatever, it's all on WhatsApp. So you're frequently using it, it's part of the job. But if it's distracting you from the job, then it becomes like Facebook or like anything else, or like you're listening to even Quran. Someone's too busy listening to the Quran instead of doing their job. We say it's haram to listen to the Quran now. Because they didn't pay you to listen to the Quran. You could have done this for free at home. They're paying you so you can do the job. Jazakallah khair. Any other questions?
In some groups, somebody in the morning they will put Assalamu alaikum subah khair. So is it compulsory? Everybody has to reply for that?
Yeah, well that's why, again, like I said, some of the scholars allow to just say wa alaikum salam, verbally. Which is what I personally do, because I found it impossible. Impossible. And some people really, that's all they do. Salam alaikum, and then 10 people reply wa alaikum salam. Then I'm waiting for the next thing, nothing happens. Okay. They say, and I've spoken to someone, he said, brother, I'm just trying to get ajr. I couldn't argue with him, honestly. He said he's trying to get ajr, jazakallah khair, barakallah feek. He's trying to get reward for, you give salam, you say salam alaikum, that's 10 good deeds. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah, that's 20 good deeds. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, that's 30 good deeds. I couldn't argue. He refuted me. Said, he's got a point. So I kept quiet, and then I decided to verbally respond. Because I cannot really type all that out every time. Is emoticons with eyes, etc. allowed to be used in messages? It's a good point. Is it equal to image formation, or in other words, picture making? Yeah, there's a fatwa, I think, on Islam QA as well about this particular matter. And from what I recall, though, they did not consider these faces to be the resemblance of real human beings. When was the last one you saw a person with a yellow face? Now, of course, they changed the faces now, right? They have all skin colors, mashallah, to maintain racism amongst mankind, which is very nice on their part, and being sarcastic here. But the bottom line is, so you may have other faces. This becomes a debatable issue, okay? And I'm not in a position to tell you halal or haram. You will find some scholars who will say, no, these things should be avoided, tooth and nail, khalas, leave them alone. And some say, no, this does not fall under, first of all, it's digital. It is not something that you drew yourself. It's not a picture which you drew, you took yourself. It's just something that you share and it goes away. So they don't look at it at the severity as other scholars. So whatever opinion you prefer to follow, you ask a mufti, he gives you the fatwa, you act accordingly. I personally don't have any, I'm okay with them. But that's just me. I could be wrong. If you follow a stricter position, by all means. Good question, mashallah. Anything else? Yes, sir.
The haram is looking at these things while driving.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you, yeah. I mean, again, haram is I would say if you're truly risking, yes, your life and others' lives. Yeah, of course. Not that now. Eating a sandwich becomes a problem. If you're eating a sandwich and because of the sandwich you drop some food and now you don't know how to drive, say you stop eating while you're driving. So, but we will say it has to do with the driver. It's generally not safe. And there are many accidents that are due to people trying to text, as they say, texting or messaging while. So it's definitely a dangerous thing. And I think the new rule is that if the Sahir camera catches you, you'll be in trouble. No seat belt and using the phone, you'll get a nice fine. It's not fine, by the way. It's very ugly. But so yeah, so we should avoid those as well. If you stopped at a traffic light, is it okay? You're at a traffic light. Any other questions?
Instead of Assalamu alaikum, they mention salam. Is it okay?
Salam?
Just say salam.
I mean, there are some references in the Quran. Salam, the Ibrahim alayhi salam with his discussion with the Malaika. And there are other references which I remember that where the salam was used. And I've read some discussion among the scholars. It's again another debatable matter. Whether you have to say Assalamu alaikum or salam would suffice. Some of the ulama will conclude their message or their letter or whatever with was salam. Allahu a'lam. Yes, brother.
Can you shed some light on questions like they have been mass forwarded these days? People do that, such as forward this verse to 10 people and you will get barakah in the next 1 hour, or go forward and you will get some bad news in 1 hour.
Aywa, jazakallah khair. Yeah, I didn't highlight that because you're right. That was part of the lecture, do not forward. And obviously Facebook can make you face hell. But yes, surely, all of these messages where someone predicts the future. Or the other famous one, the Hamla. We have the campaign of 100 million salah upon the Prophet ﷺ. So if you forward this message to 100 people, then within, I don't know, a number of hours, we would have reached all that. Really? What if the internet went down? Oh, طيب يا أخي, this is all from ilm al-ghayb, knowledge of the unseen. And so these things more often than not fall into the area of bid'ah and innovation. It's an innovation to say we have a campaign of sending 1 million salah upon the Prophet ﷺ. That was never done by the Sahaba and the previous generations, even if they didn't have smartphones. They could have done it by writing a letter. One alim will write a letter, another alim. Let's say all you do, just send salah upon him. It wasn't done. So we don't need to add anything that was not there before. Okay, we each send the salah privately upon the Prophet ﷺ or in a group. When he's mentioned, each one of us says it privately, and khalas, that's sufficient. Any message that tells you if you do this, then you will get this, or if you don't, then a disaster will strike you, is nonsense. And more often than not, these are Christian messages that some Muslim received and they twisted it now and made it Islamic. You've heard the story about the boy who went to different homes and gave the pamphlets to the lady. That was a Christian story. I searched it, I found it was about Jesus. Then someone made it about Tawheed. The same exact story, same characters, same events, same everything. They just changed from Jesus and the boy's name to, his name was John, it became Abdullah. And then the lady became Muslim instead of accepting Jesus as her Lord and Savior. I mean, why do we need to do this? Get a Christian story, make it Islamic, and then forward it to the masses. We mentioned it, don't forward. Most of the stuff you forward is no bueno, is no good. Honestly, either bring something from the heart or spare the people the nonsense unless you have verified it's authentic. If it's an ayah from the Quran, khalas, it's done deal, there's no negotiation. If it's authentic hadith, it's again, something that is not negotiable. But other than that, you have to be very careful with any type of other message. Good point, jazakallah khair. Anything else? Yes, sir.
You have a janaza notice, then they say reply inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Does it mean whole group members have to tell the same thing, repeat it?
The question, let's go back a step. Is it obligatory for you to say inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un when you know that someone died? Is it? I don't know.
There are 100 in a group.
Huh?
There are 100 in a group.
100 in a group. No, they added that.
No, they in a group, a specific group, 100.
Okay, your group has 100. Tamam.
In that one, each one is type. Each one has to say.
They have to say. According to who? The group owner, the group admin. These group admins, man, they become like some dictators, huh? Because they made the group, because it's a very special quality you have. You graduated from Harvard to make a WhatsApp group. Oxford gave you that PhD in creating groups, so now you have to dictate how everything goes. La ya sheikh. Nobody can tell you you have to or you don't have to do something, even if it's the group admin. And they should invent a way to, kick him out of the group. You become the admin. No, there's no such thing, akhi. I don't know of anything which makes it obligatory on you to say these things. Again, Islam is in harmony. It's with logic, with common sense. Some things just appear to be a burden, and our deen is free from يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants to make things easy. These things make things difficult without evidence. Now, if we have something that appears to be difficult for us, but it has an evidence, then the issue is with us. We are assuming it's difficult when in reality it's not. Or it could be something that Allah is testing us with. But anything else that is a burden is usually not from Islam. Now, how should you write salutation to the messenger on a messenger? Should you write the complete thing, especially if you have to write it more than once for an answer to a question? I mentioned that earlier. Like I said, I personally say it verbally. If you want to follow the position, then again, you can, depending on the keyboard you're using, you can add words, and then the keyboard learns your choice. So once you write peace, trust me, it will tell you be, then you press B, then it will say upon, then you press upon him. It just becomes a matter of clicking on the suggested words. That's the word I'm looking for. Suggested words. So if you learn some of the tricks on the keyboards, most keyboards, even the ones that are, the generic ones, the native ones on your phone, or the ones you download from whatever store, iOS, if you're using the bitten Apple, or from the Google Play Store, you will find many keyboards that make life easy. They've made life easy. So I would say learn these things and make your life easy. In my case, when I write peace, it automatically gives me be upon him as one sentence actually. The swipe keyboard. Press on it, the whole thing is there. Khalas. Much easier, inshallah. I don't work for Swipe, so I'm advertising them, but it's a very useful way of typing. Any other questions, brothers and sisters? All right, that sums it up. So, جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله فيكم. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.